Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Social Intuition Podcast, where we explore the human's intuition and its awesome benefits. My guest today is Marie Kahle with Zante Reiki. Marie is an intuitive coach, a Reiki master, and just an overall amazing individual that has personally helped me out and you know in so many ways just building self-confidence really is a major one for me. So I want to welcome Marie. Thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing your time.
thank you, Jenny. I'm thrilled to be here.
Awesome. That's so great for you to share your time with me, so I want to start off by asking one question, and then maybe that'll take us to many different places. But what do you think the purpose of life is?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, I imagine that people have their own specific purpose in that how they see the world. For me, a big theme is being of service to others, and more in more recent years, self-love. I've realized that the it starts with me loving myself, and then it gives me the capacity to expand my energy, my talents to others. And I feel like I had to unlearn some things to get to that place of really practicing self-love daily. But for me, I feel very fortunate to be a soul in this realm on this planet with you. And all the opportunity, anytime I have a chance to connect with a person, I put that above all my to do things. I feel like no one died and wish they did more laundry. I really love connecting with other people.
That's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much. I agree with you 100% on that. So if you can just tell us a little bit of how you got to the point of where you are on a daily basis, helping humans just get in tune with themselves and just changing your lives pretty much, how tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got there, and how you got introduced to Reiki maybe, and um, how you got back your intuition, because we all have it, but we just kind of unlearn it as soon as we're pretty much go to school, I feel like, start schooling.
I really agree with you there. I got connected to Reiki 20 years ago. I had a miniature schnauzer named Bob who was 10, and he had an occasional limp, and a friend of mine did Reiki on him, and he loved it. And I also received Reiki from that friend, and I loved it. And I mentioned it to my yoga teacher, Heidi, and she trained me in Reiki. At the time, I didn't see myself doing it professionally. I worked in advertising, and Reiki became a tool to help me kind of find my middle, like to be really chill and not get swept up. I'm super, super empathic. So I felt like I was often moving through the world with the emotions of the people I connected with each day instead of kind of really steering things myself. So that Reiki was the beginning of me really turning around the flow of energy and learning how to send energy and channel energy for the good of others and myself. Um, I had the pleasure, the honor of partnering with my business partner 13 years ago to go full time with Reiki. So it was there, it was a tool. I loved it. I did it with friends and family. But when I looked at it professionally, I had been through a journey of wonderful opportunities and advertising and marketing roles in ad agencies, a couple of universities, and then I was at the Alzheimer's Association. And when my parents began to decline and deal with like end of life stuff, I
Mhm.
started really looking to amplify the things in my life that gave me peace and empowered me. And I was less interested in the things that were taking energy away. And that got me. And when I saw my business partner and wife, Delphina, experience a lot of joy leaving her marketing role to do her profession as an intuitive medium, I then partnered with her in our business, and that was the beginning of my journey as an intuitive Reiki healer, and mentoring and doing classes and private sessions. And
That's
I hope I
beautiful.
answered your questions.
You did. Oh my gosh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I just kind of wanted to, how do you define intuition?
Yeah, I feel that we are all, it's an innate part of who we are as a human being, as a species. I feel that we are sentient beings. We come in with that sixth sense along with all the others. And then just some cultures talk about it more openly, like in India. I think this was in Steve Jobs' memoir. That this culture that we live in the Western civilization, is now more recently talking about intuition, but I don't think, I didn't feel growing up that that was a conversation, but it was one that I was having, because I needed context for why I could sense things and feel things and see things that other people didn't always see. And so
Wow.
for me, it's the inner voice. And it gets stronger when I honor it and I listen to it. And an example for me is like looking at my weather app, it says no rain today, but I feel like it is going to rain and I bring my umbrella. And then when it does rain, I'm like, thank you. And I like to talk to my guides. For me, that includes my ancestors of light, like my parents are on the other side. They're my dream team. They're two of my most strong guides for me. And then I also have light being guides that are not ancestors. I have an angel guide. I have a Celtic guide. So I believe that my posse in spirit helps me as well as my higher self. So I do keep it a two-way conversation. I start the day asking for guidance, especially around my family and my friends and my clients. Please give me intuitive insight to help our lives be better, to be healthy, happy, and free, prosperous. So that is an intention I set daily, and I really feel like my guides often honor me with insight that's like, advanced insight, so I can be there for somebody in a way that is helpful and preventative. I love preventative for health, for safety.
That's beautiful. You're such a beautiful human. My question is, how did you, I just really want to know how people can tell the difference between their thoughts and their inner voice intuition. Is there any like anything you want to share, techniques maybe from past clients that something has worked for them or for yourself, if you can share any type of insight? Because I always, I'm a little better now, but I used to always be like, oh, I'm thinking this, this is just something that I made up because it's just, I don't know, kind of irrelevant or, you know what I mean,
Yes.
scary to take, How do you really, I know practice probably,
Yeah,
but
that's certainly a lot of it. But also that inner voice, when you practice gives you the confidence, and if you keep track too of the things that you find yourself saying to people in your life, your family, your friends, even in your notes in your phone, just in a I think you'll be happily surprised at how often they're like, you know what, I was just thinking that, or you just confirmed something that I was actively doing or want to do. Or when you tap into a passion that someone you've just met is like their heart song, the thing that gives them joy, that's intuition. So to
mhm,
me, intuitive insight comes more easily when I'm in a place of joy.
mhm,
And so, because to me as an empath, I tend to filter the world through the emotions I'm having. So if I just came out of a really difficult conversation with someone, I'm probably not going to immediately give someone my intuitive take on their life in a
mhm,
specific way without first elevating my own energy. So I would go outside maybe and hug a tree or turn on some music that really gets me uplifted. But I do really believe that you want to be in a positive place of joy to give a really more connected, accurate insight. The other piece of it is like you said, is practice and strengthening your inner voice. And I get what I call like an affirmation. So when somebody says something to me that I know is like, oh yeah, I can feel that that is your truth, I get like a chill up my spine. So that's a thing that you might identify in yourself. I think it's unique to people how they, like Jennifer Lopez always shows people who are goosebumps. You know,
mhm.
if she sees a really talented dancer, she'll be like, look, So that is, I think we all have that. There's a sense in our body that says yes. And it
Mhm.
goes, and I think when it matters, when it's about our family, that's when we really feel it, or someone that we love and we're like, I really would love to be able to support this person. If you can help me give them an insight that will help them on this journey, and then you get a physical feeling, to me, that's a validation that confirms what you feel. So there's a knowing that happens in your body where you're like, this feels right to me. And when it's something that's really kind of dark, the message is probably not from our higher selves or from our
Hmm.
guides.
Or any type of doubt or fear. I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Doubt or fear isn't the best place to be when you're connecting to the message that helps us get out of something sticky or a challenge. Yeah.
That's good. And the other day too, I heard a medium say, if you think it's a sign, it's a sign. If there's any second of you that, oh, I wonder if that's a sign, that's a sign for you, whatever it may, and you kind of instantly know, you know,
Yeah.
without doubt.
Jenny, part of this in the world is being okay with not everybody seeing the world through the same lens we do, right? So if you have a personal experience and you're like, that felt like a sign, I would agree completely. And it's so personal. During my parents' final years of their life, I received a lot of signs, and many of them were, my dad often appeared to me as I want to say falcon, but it's not. It's a hawk. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
really rare to live in a city and see hawks,
Hmm.
and it would be in very specific ways, where I'm seeking insight. My family are about to gather and discuss with the hospice team about my mom's care. And there's a hawk following my car down the highway after I'd asked my dad for a sign to show me that
Wow.
whatever was for my mother's highest good. So those moments for me, no one can talk me out of that. My dad was there. He held me in the light, and it meant everything. So
That's beautiful.
I think that when something gives you joy and helps you feel centered, it's really about how you see it. And if, that gives you strength and helps you get through, a challenging time, then I'm all about it.
Totally. I agree with you 100%. So I got another question for you.
Okay.
So when your clients come in to get either Reiki or intuitive coaching, do you see their abilities or do you sense their abilities that they might be unlocking or are close to maybe getting back or any of those things? Do you kind of guide people to like, hey, maybe you should look into drawing more or, you know what I mean? Do you sense anything like that with people?
I do. And I think because in the energy healing world, you're in someone's aura, right? And
Hmm.
both people have given each other permission to share that energy. And Reiki in particular is designed to elevate both the healer because you're channeling all the good energy and the person receiving. So you're in this telepathic connection that is so elevated that I am always seeking to do Reiki on people because it's such an incredible high to give Reiki. And then within that space, you're connected very telepathically. So the things that come through for me, because I'm asking for them to feel their joy, I think of healing sessions as joy treatments that then they share with me, like their guides, my guides, that insight that comes in is about what is it that gives them joy, which I often believe is very connected to your soul's purpose, your life purpose. Like if you love to sing, you're
Hmm.
supposed to be singing, in my mind. If you're if writing gives you joy, sometimes writers are shy about saying they're writers. I don't believe you have to be published to be a great writer. But also, if you love it and it gives you joy, then you're absolutely supposed to be doing it. And now they have connected that our moods affect inflammation in the body. Like we're literally wired to thrive and feel good. When we're happy, we feel healthier. And when
Hmm.
we get sad, we don't feel as well. So I feel like leaning into the things that give you joy. So that's often what I ask for during a session, a healing session, or before I'm mentoring someone. Please, thank you guides for showing me what is for their highest good, their happiness, what they're gifted at, what will, because when you get to do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. Like that's a 4-letter word I don't use. I love, absolutely love getting to work with people in this way. People who are seekers, empaths, HSP, intuitive people. That's my jam.
That's
The
beautiful. So
15%.
you
Yeah.
meet friends every day, pretty much. You make friends every day.
No, I do. I'm so intrigued and attracted to the energy that the people that want energy healing and insight around their life, they want to be the butterfly. I'm intrigued by the people who want to learn and grow, because then I grow and learn from them and I'm better for it.
Beautiful. Okay, so how did you get connected to your guides? How can someone know for sure that, oh, this is the person that's helping me on the other side? Thank you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's such a good question, Jenny. I think that it can be organic for people. Maybe, you want to start slow. The very first time I explored it, I was in a workshop many years ago, and it was a guided meditation. And it really helped me because I'm listening and I'm just letting myself turning down the voice that like is trying to narrate or be judgy, and just let myself have the experience. And I met a guide, a really powerful Celtic guide, and Delphina does a similar exercise, being that the focus of her, role at our business is giving intuitive sessions. She developed a class, and there is a video specifically on our myspiritacademy.com. She has a video dedicated to meeting your guides. But in this journey with all of us, when you're in a relaxed space, you can, and I got an insight years ago from a book by Alison Dubois called We're Their Heaven, where she just would get overwhelmed in hospitals, so much spirit activity. So she asked her father on the other side to only allow her to connect to light. And that was a light bulb moment for me a long time ago. I realized I can be a hands-on healer and not be concerned about connecting to energy that's not of light, because I'm going to set that parameter with my guides. And who knows more about the other side than our loved ones on the other side? So at that time, it was my grandmother. She was in spirit, my mother's mother. And I said, thank you, Grandma. Every day that I saw clients, thank you for making sure that I connect to the light, and only the light. And then that was it. From then on, I knew that it doesn't mean that I wouldn't be able to walk in a room and sense that there's energy that's not positive, but I won't connect to anything that's not positive, if that makes sense. So when I do healing sessions on people, yes, people are always dealing with anxiety, and there's often trauma for people who are attracted to what I do. But there's this way to connect to your joy that allows you to just kind of pull away those layers, the cellular memory that's holding experiences that are part of our past, that no longer necessarily serve us. Now when people seek to be elevated, they're often getting to experience themselves in a lighter way and have a different maybe narrative around something that before would keep them from engaging in their life a certain way. Does that make sense? Yeah.
100%.
It
Yep.
does? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we covered a lot there, but for me as a healer and as someone that connects to energy of light, I needed that confirmation early in my career that I will be working with light specifically. That's my goal. And
So it takes me to another question then. So, opposite of light, because I feel like light needs to bounce off of something to know that it's light or good or whatever it is, you know what I mean? The love. What do you feel? How do you what do you think is the other side? What is that? What are the other dark, and we don't have to get into it, but like
yeah.
I want to know, because I just learned so much where you have to protect yourself, but then it's like, no, you really don't have to protect yourself, because you have to make sure you are vibrating high enough. Then all the negative lower vibrations kind of just fall off and can't operate in the same frequency basically. So I wanted to see what you think of that, and
Okay.
why do you think even that whole darkness, I guess, exists too? What is your insight on
I
that?
love that you went there, Jenny. Wow, this is an interesting podcast to me. So I love that idea that water seeks its own level. I really believe that. Like we're all tuning forks and what we put out, we get back, right? And for me personally, since I committed to doing Reiki as a professional endeavor, and get to work with people and mentor and do classes, I mean, it's just been magic. That every day I meet people who are incredibly gifted in their way of being empathic and intuitive. And I feel like I was always kind of feeling like the odd one out prior to choosing this path. Like I was like kind of way more empathic, more sensitive than people around me, so this has been magical. In the broader way that you were describing, for me, this is what I learned when I was in high school from a priest. And this is what he said to me. He said to the class, he goes, I believe all things are good. Everything is of light. People come in this world. He goes, I believe they come in with good in their hearts. And he said, and then it becomes choices. It's about free will. And for him, and I resonate with this, I love this analogy because I love like Star Wars and the Matrix. And he goes, I don't really see it as like dark versus light, like, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. I'm like, I'm with you. I'm getting your analogy. Okay. And then he said, so let's say, we're all high school girls. He's like, let's say you study or you have a beer with your friend. He said, it's the same. It's equal. I'm like, what? He said, we could have a beer? And then he said, but if you have a beer the night before the test and you didn't study, you've made the lesser choice. And if you continue to do that in your journey, you feel disconnected from the light. Mm-hmm. Now, I would describe myself as an addictive personality, and Reiki really helps me stay in balance. That totally resonated with me.
So the advice that you got from the priest, I feel like that was amazing. I resonate with that so much as well too, because it is all about willpower.
Right? And choice, free will. Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. Okay. So I was wondering if you could maybe see if you could look into my aura and see if you could see anything or give me any type of advice or anything like that. I would love
Oh,
to.
wow, Jenny. To me, I feel like you're at a fork in the road, and that you are at a place right now where you really want to spread your wings and explore what's out there. And I think of you as a fearless person because you are willing to try new things. Like this podcast, you do take action. You don't just plan, you do it and you execute. And you have many talents, especially in the creative realm and as a communicator. So I think those are really powerful tools to have right now. A client of mine recently taught me that we are currently in the beginning of the fire period in Feng Shui. The next 20 years, we're to experience a spiritual awakening of a kind, and that it will mean the rise of women in positions of influence and leadership. And I just think that you are a voice of somebody that you're like a tipping point. People follow you, people are interested because you exude joy when you get excited about things, and that attracts people. So you're light in my life, and I feel like you're interested in sharing your light with others. And I mean, I'm a follower. I'm a fan.
You're so sweet. I'm a fan too. You're awesome. Yeah, I just feel every experience that we go through, and I've been through some stuff, like everybody. And it's like a lot of people don't share, and I think I mean, there's a certain way to share when you're maybe see someone going through a certain similar situation or something, and you just want to give them words of encouragement. Or I continuously do that on a daily basis with random people. It just kind of is my fuel sometimes, you know what I mean? Even
Yes,
when
yes,
I'm
yes.
feeling a little down or, it just takes me out of that, dark, because I get into dark spaces in my mind sometimes, you know what I mean?
Right,
Where it's,
yes.
where I got two little babies, you know what I mean? I'm continuously like thinking of what's next and what do we need to get done and all this stuff. So I found Reiki personally to really help me out too, just to calm myself. And I definitely got to put more practice into it. But this podcast is definitely going to help me ask certain questions that maybe I'm not finding, or so I'm super excited for this, and thank you for being a part of this. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I'm so excited to be here and do this with you. And And this is the kind of content that I listen to on podcasts. I'm really interested in energy and spirit and guides and all of it, getting intuitive insight.
Me too, right? The last 3.5 years, almost 4 years, I was just went down this rabbit hole and I'm not coming out. Energy work, light language, mirror gazing, you name it, UFOs, everything. I just am so into that stuff because it's so fascinating to me. You know what I mean?
Yes, Dolores Cannon, I know you're a fan of.
That's where it all kind of started for me. And I honestly don't even quite remember how she came into my life. I remember it was audiobooks and I was like, wow, like this this lady like discovered past life like regressions, how she can hypnotize and take you into lives that are, and I've also learned this recently where time is simultaneous. So basically everything's happening at once. Your past lives are happening at once and your future lives are happening at once. And
So, wow.
I'm just trying to grasp all of that and process that because it resonates and it makes sense. But I just have so many questions.
Great.
It
Yeah.
doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And I want to share that with me. I think like even like with my mom personally, I'm just kind of helping her, or I'm not really doing anything. I'm just sharing with her what I kind of learn, you know what I mean? And I feel from her that she's opening up too, because her, response is like, oh yeah, I've heard this like when I was back in the day or when I was a kid and stuff. So I'm like, oh my gosh,
Wow.
like, so I definitely feel um, that people are truly kind of getting back into their, oh, because when I was a kid, it was like I kind of just knew that, oh, I'm in here. Because I was like, when I'm not talking, I can hear myself. Like, you know what I mean? What is that? When I was a little child, I remember being like, what is that? How is that possible? Because I know that person right there is thinking too, and they could be thinking whatever, but they're not saying anything. So I was just, as a young person, I was so fascinated with that. So I knew something was more than just us in this body and like what we feel and all of that. So yeah, and it's fun to try to master your emotions because I am on a journey. But I appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything that else, any advice to kind of help people start cultivating, their intuition on a daily basis? Any other advice that you could possibly think of for the viewers?
I have a daily practice that might resonate with people. I use Palo Santo, whatever people are drawn to, and I light it with a candle. And then I take the smoke, and I usually have something under it because even though we have wood floors in our home and office, embers can fall. So I do keep something under it. And I get to all the corners. And while I'm doing that, I'm asking my guides, my ancestors, if I'm at home, thank you for raising the vibration of my home to the highest level so I can restore and renew and connect to the highest version of myself for my health and happiness and my family's health and happiness. If I'm at the office, I'll be saying things like, oh, wow, thank you guides for my amazing clients that are open to the healing messages and the healing energy, and let them feel my intention of desire to help others, to be there and be supportive and be part of their tribe. When
Hmm.
they maybe hear my name or see my website, that they know that I want to be genuine and transparent. So it can be whatever feels right, within somebody. But I do think that when you set the day that way, and then of course I'm asking my guides to bring through light to elevate me so that I can be the best version of myself, especially in moments when people are in crisis. I think we can get very caught up in the emotions of struggle and not realize where it's taken us, and then if somebody steps in and says, hi, and then you're like, whoa, like it just brings us to this awareness and being in the present. And then, so I always hope to be that person for somebody in a way that's positive. So I ask my guides in the morning for insight in that way. And and of course with my family and friends and clients. Like if there's something I can do or say or hold space and listen, so I do think a morning practice when you're still feeling, the good vibes is a good way to start the day, because then you're giving permission to your posse in
Mm-hmm.
spirit to help you. And I really am asking for the help, because I feel that as an empath, I can get swept up pretty easily in the energy of this big city, and it's nature deficient, and a lot of people don't practice, grounding and stuff. So we're kind of all feeling swirly out here unless we ask for help, and even help to know how I should be grounding and clearing. And so it's, for me, it's the start of the day now. It used to be that I would only feel this amazing joy during Reiki sessions, and now I've recognized that, why am I not starting the day this way? you know
That's an amazing practice. I love that.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jenny. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I gotta do that. I gotta kind of find a way to also, incorporate that in my, morning daily routine as well. But how do you feel about crystals and water? Because I heard you can program water and program your crystals. Because I know a lot of people are walking around with little rocks in their pockets or whatever. And I don't know, it's just like, it's a little, I don't know, I'm a little skeptical on that. But then I heard that, hey, you can actually like program. And I know back in Egypt, they used to use crystals, quartz or whatever for transporting rocks and all of that levitation and all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you think how do you feel about?
Well,
Because I know you guys.
Jenny, when I worked back in advertising, I was a skeptic about how crystals could improve my life. And I think I was pretty blocked to their benefits too back then. I was consuming massive amounts of Mountain Dew. I was working really long days, and I think, a bit shut off from my own energy. And as I've been exploring my energy and elevating over the years through Reiki and being in nature, I really do feel the positive effects of crystals and stones. And I was the kid that my brother and I were outside all the time playing, and I had rocks and river rocks in my pocket all the time.
Me
And I
too.
think, yeah, they're like nature's treasures, right? I mean, my nieces and nephews always gravitated to the crystals that my wife and I had in our home. Like they beeline to it, So they're magic, right? And when I get one as a gift, I get emotional. It's like this beautiful, unique piece of nature. So the way in which you can use them, and I've seen this firsthand, is if you look online and see the chakra colors, and then you can find descriptions of which crystals work for those chakras. I've seen that work. Specifically with someone I adore in my life who had a lot of, it was really common in 2020 and since, for people's solar plex to get really hot. It's an emotional
Hmm.
chakra, and there's a lot more emotion. We lived through a pandemic, a lot of spiritual awakening going on. And citrine is a really powerful clearing stone for the solar plex. So I found a nice piece, and for this person that I love, they put it there, and it was like knocked them out. They went to sleep, the pain resided, and I was really impressed. So I think it's something, like all things, if you're new to it, like I say to someone who comes to Reiki for the first time, see what you think, give it a go. I feel that way about crystals, but I absolutely believe you need to clear them first. Whether they're gifted to you or you buy them in a store, they collect energy when someone holds them. So you want to put them in the sun or the moonlight. I love having them in a windowsill. And if
Hmm.
they're new to you, I would probably have them in this window all day. And then sleep with them by your bed. See if your dreams don't get way more positive. Incredible. And like in healing sessions, I use a biomat, and it's covered in amethyst. So
Wow.
I just really am a fan. And I think they're like nature's gifts to us, because they're such a high vibration. And so, like, if an empathic person is having a really big day and you give them a really beautiful stone that's been cleared, it's been in the sun, there's something magical that happens. But I also believe, do go to the ones you're drawn to. You know, there's some nice stores here and in wherever town people are in that are hearing this.
Yeah.
And then you go in and see which one you're drawn to and read about it and be like, oh, that's exactly why I'm drawn to this one, because this is what I need right now. You
That
know?
happened to me the other day too. I literally looked up around here and I found this shop called So Above as Below. I was like,
Oh,
wow,
I,
I'm in love. So I just went there, and as soon as I walked in, it was like a just such a peaceful, the smell, the trickling water, you know what I mean? And the kit, whatever they had in there, it was just like amazing. So I needed it. And I instantly got drawn to certain pieces where I was like, okay, there's a reason why and then the lady that was there, she's a super empath too. She's like, oh, I feel like this would really kind of help you out at this time or whatever, so she actually guided me to this black onyx right
oh,
here.
wow. Powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's exactly, but I left it to clear it. I left it in the moonlight. For
Yep.
some reason, I felt the, I don't know, maybe the darkness of it or something, but I was like, I feel like it needs to recharge in the moon. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. And I got this just a couple days ago. And I'm a fire sign. I can get feisty, especially with my kids. Just like, hey, sit down or do just calm down. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This thing, I'm calm as a cucumber with them. I'm just like, hey, you guys. I even get quieter, actually. I'm just like, hey. And then they're like, huh? What's happening? Mama's like, what's going on? I'm going to listen harder, you know? So
Yeah.
I think it's just magical. And I truly, when I got it, I was like, I truly put the intention into it. I was like, hey, I like made it my little friend. I was like, okay, you're gonna be on me and you're gonna, you know, um, help me out. And what I need you to help me with is to keep me calm and and I just talk to it, So
Yes.
I don't know, like,
I got to get my arm candy back. I always wear it. I don't have it on today. It's a really good reminder. Having it
yeah,
right against your skin, I feel like you really feel the benefits of those stones and crystals.
totally. And that's like my to go like gift a to go to gift. I feel like some sort
Yes.
of for whatever you feel like for that person, you'll kind of that's the intuition right there. So it's such a
Yes.
beautiful thing. I'm just so happy that I had the courage to really kind of do this and that you were willing to come on and chat and
Oh, I'm
it's just
honored. This is my first podcast, and I really feel like it's a privilege to do it with you, Jenny. I'm
thank
really
you so much.
looking forward to your journey. I know that you're a seeker. You've been on this path for a while. You have a lot of knowledge, and you're going to share it with people, and hear their stories. And I think it's great. It's really, really exciting.
I truly, truly believe, and it's just happening on a daily basis to me where, because I have monkey brain. It just keeps blah, 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 blah.
Me too.
Worst case scenarios, constantly. It's like no, like oh, it's time to find peace. People are so concerned about happiness and joy and all the, like just bliss and all that. Peace is the most important and valuable thing, I think, peace,
Yes.
just to be peaceful in the head, because we are so constantly, I know I am distracted continuously, and I have a hard time kind of keeping, you know, like right now.
I know. I'm with you there with the monkey mind, and I feel like I may not be able to control the first thought that comes in my mind, but I can redirect. So if it comes in and it makes me feel like less joyful, then I'm like, okay, how do we move this in a positive way? And I do think it's an inside out job. So I'm always seeking ways to find the glimmers. Yesterday, I follow a couple of artists at the tattoo business that's next to our business, and she gave two women yesterday tattoos that said "Let them."
Let
And
them. Hmm.
I looked it up, and it's huge on TikTok right now. Part of a bigger conversation about we can recognize that there's people that may not be seeing the world through the same lens that we do,
Hmm.
and that if it makes us feel any kind of way that's not positive, then we can just say, let them.
Hmm.
And that doesn't mean that we're necessarily drawn to have them in our, close tribe, but it means, that without judgment, let people do what they're doing and we do what we're doing. And I thought that that's a powerful thing for people. I feel like there's a spiritual awakening. And along with that goes, okay, I do recognize that, people I love may not be into the same things I am or think the same way I do. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
That's
I
good.
discovered that a long time ago with my healing practice. There's people that I would love to do Reiki on that are not interested, and that's okay. And it really is.
Yep.
It's for those who want it. And there's lots of ways to get healing. And this is just one of them. You
Exactly.
know? Yeah.
Just another tool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's there's what was I gonna say? There's definitely many tools for people, and I think you'll get attracted to whatever kind of, resonates with you.
Right. Yes.
But so for our listeners that are going to tune in, um, where can they learn more about you? Where can they find you for your coaching services? How can they stay connected to you? Um, Tell us, please.
Okay, I will. Thank you for asking, Jenny. Well, my site is Zante, or it can also be pronounced Jante, ZAANTI.com. And on the landing page, you can get to all our different services. Delphine and I are hosting a Reiki class next Saturday, so we'd love to have anyone that's interested. And I don't know when this airs, though, so classes are posted on my site. I also do mentoring, as you talked about, and that on my site is called Strategic Energy Alignment. And that is also combining with people's interest in starting a business. So it's about, that piece of it is about, if you're interested in doing not specifically a healing business, but any kind of business, and you're from somebody who's been in business, I can share from this perspective of owning one and the different tools that we use to market our business, including manifesting clients. And then we have an online video tool now called My Spirit Academy. And right now, the first class that we put up in the fall is the one on intuition that Delphina did 30 videos for. And the next one will be, the one I'm putting up this year will be about owning a business, starting a business, and different things, different tools for that. How to make a business plan, how to do usability testing, using prototypes and wireframes, things like that. And then synergy alignment consulting is something Delphina does, and it's intuitive mentoring. That's 4 sessions, usually over 4 months, but it's up to the Delphina and the client. And then Vibe Tribe is our monthly Zoom event. So if somebody has met with Delphina and wants to do this every 2 hours, it's a 2-hour thing we just did today. We do it monthly, and people explore in a network, a virtual network, each other's intuition, reading each other, reading someone in the group, learning new content from Delphina. So that's been a lot of fun. That's been going on since 2020. And like you said, using it, right?
Yeah.
Giving yourself permission is like, I mean, that's like one of the quickest things to get your intuition to just blow up. And, and also just like recognizing that it's been such a thing that's so powerful. Like Einstein, I think he often referred to it as his intuitions. But years later, when they told him that they discovered that his theory of relativity could be proven, he's like, I suspected so because my intuitions told me.
That's amazing.
So that means intellect combined with his intuitive instinct. And I point to the heart because, Heart Math Institute says that the heart is where we get a lot of intuitive insight. And so for you and I as empaths, that heart-centered, joy space stuff is where it's all at. That's where all the insight for me, the creative insight, the, intuitive hits about people I care about, that all comes from here while connecting with my guides and my higher self. So, it's all good. And thank you for asking me about what we do in our services and letting me be on your podcast. It's really, truly, yes.
We got to have you back, and we got to have Delphina, maybe both of you back, do a little session. That would be super fun.
Yes.
Thank you
Sure.
so much.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. I loved it. This has been the best part of my day.
Oh, you're the best. Thanks for saying that. You're a sweetheart. Thank you so much once again, and we will reconnect soon. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.